Welcome to Malibu, California, folks. We're filming with an 830 nanometer near-infrared camera. This presentation is going to shock some of you. If you haven't seen my previous videos, you're in for a real surprise. And those that have seen the previous videos, here comes a shocker, folks. But first, look at this. This is 830 nanometer in February 2019. After I've captured that incredibly clear photo of Mount San Jacinto, I've returned with a telescope and a 1000 nanometer filter. So here's the 1000 nanometer filter. Notice how much darker it is, and the contrast has been turned up. I also had to adjust the ISO number, because otherwise it would have been too dark. Using infrared technology has allowed me to see the unseen, a new reality. We're seeing the world with new eyes. And it is quite shocking to see these mountains in the distance that do not appear in the visible spectrum from this distance. They're hidden in the atmospheric haze, but in infrared they show up. And as you'll see shortly, the world is not what we've been taught in school.
Oh yeah, this is my telescope.
I've created a time lapse, folks. Look at that. We can see people moving on the beach. This is incredible, folks. Look at that. Some have speculated that the mountain is visible due to certain atmospheric conditions like temperature. But I've taken photos in multiple temperatures, and as you can see here, it's visible just about the same. On New Year's Day 2019, it was the clearest I have ever seen it out there. The temperature was about 45 degrees. I returned in February and it was almost as clear, but there was a little bit of haze hanging over the water. Temperature was about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. And a few years ago, I took a picture of the mountain when the Santa Ana winds were blowing, and the temperature was about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And that picture was taken with a infrared camcorder, so that's why it's not quite as clear. This time around I was filming from location 2, slightly higher and to the left, and here's the difference that it makes. The Chino Hills are now clearly visible, and we'll use those to do an analysis. And notice this building is a little bit to the left, in the left. And also notice the clarity difference between the telescope and the camera. Now let's do an analysis. By using the Chino Hills as a reference of height and knowing the distance, I built a scale. And notice the mountain comes out at exactly 16.6 milliradians, where it's supposed to be for a flat earth, folks. Just incredible. If we were living on a sphere with the radius quoted in the literature, that mountain should appear down where it says globe earth, but it's incorrect. It doesn't appear there. And as you'll see shortly, it gets even stranger than that, folks. Your deep programming has begun.
There is Mount San Jacinto from the Miracle Springs Resort in Desert Hot Springs. So nice over here. Lots of pools with different water temperatures. Love it. Love it.
The Miracle Springs Resort is one of the nicer resorts in Desert Hot Springs, and we love to bring the kids out here and soak in this nice warm water. And the views of the mountain are incredible.
Alright, so I'm gonna put a 850 nanometer filter on there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, so now we got our camera. Oh, no, you're fine. So now I'm gonna adjust the color effect. There we go. I put on high contrast black and white. Cool, huh? Say hi to your friend, man. Come on.
Hi.
We're leaving too. Had fun. Lots of fun. So cool. There's a picture.
While driving out to Desert Hot Springs, I started wondering about measuring the height of the mountain and using the windmills as a reference, because the perspective from the freeway told me that this mountain cannot possibly be 10,800 feet. It just didn't look right. And what I found out was simply shocking, folks. By using a laser rangefinder with a built-in inclinometer, I came out to measure the taller windmills at about 150 feet, which collaborated with what a search on Google revealed. So I was fairly confident that it's about 150 feet. We've zoomed in on this building and it's a reference. Overlap with it in the image, we'll see these windmills. They're the taller type at 150 feet. The distance is about 3.57 miles away. Let's do a calculation based on these numbers. So 150 feet divided by 3.57, and we'll multiply by 14.87 miles. And look at that, we get 62.4. Now we multiply by 11, and you'll see why in a second. But that's approximately the height of the mountain. A quick search on Google reveals that indeed the height of the taller windmills is 150 feet. Just incredible. This is why we multiply by 11, and since the base is slightly up, the height is around 6,500 feet. This was simply incredible, folks. A shocking revelation. I could hardly believe it. I said, how can we be off so much? The base of the mountain is only around like 500 feet. This graphic gives you a sense of how far we are off in heights. Just incredible. I was highly agitated. I couldn't sleep. I thought of all sorts of things. Compression, optical distortions. I said, what is going on? We cannot be off by this much. This is insane. How is this possible? And then I got more confirmation. Around Thanksgiving, a storm swept through Southern California and dumped a lot of snow. And we had scheduled a trip out to Palm Springs. And what I saw left me speechless. The snow level came down to about 3,000 feet, folks. Just look at that mountain. Incredible. Indeed, it is about 6,500 feet tall. Just unbelievable. I brought a theodolite to the Miracle Springs Resort so I can measure the height. I had no doubt that the mountain would be measured at 10,800 feet. I'm not the first one to be doing this. Analysis is off by only 100 feet. That is just incredible, folks. I've taken forward and reverse measurements of the angles to eliminate the theodolite errors. After some simple trigonometry, I get a delta height of 9,444 feet, and then I add to it the elevation of my observation location, 1,250 feet, to arrive at 10,694 feet. Just incredible. What's really going on? Desert Hot Springs is located close to a mountain range, and there's a lot of mass in that mountain, and it distorts the gravitational field slightly, imperceptible. Most of us don't look around and think about these things, but there is a variation in the gravitational vector. It's small, but if we try to map this out to understand, have a look at this graphic. The gravitational field varies and is distorted by mass, and the angle on the slope of a mountain is slightly off from the desert floor, so that throws off our measurement angles. To understand the effect this has, look at the diagram. Because of the tilt, now I leveled the theodolite slightly leaning forward. As a result, we are now measuring a larger angle theta 2 from this new coordinate system. This phenomena occurs all over the world, folks. Just incredible. There is also diffraction in the atmosphere, but we'll deal with that in another presentation.